Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here. Today I'm going to show you how to create the Eye of the Diamond bracelet. And this was created by Keith is Looming Mad on Instagram. I will have his link down below so you can check out his profile. So this bracelet does take a lot of bands for a full wrap bracelet, but I will have the breakdown if you just want to make a small piece. I'll have that down below if you want to check that out. But for this you will need 334 total. That will be 99 white. 88 of the Zigzag pink, 66 of the baby blue, 46 of this inner clear that you don't really see a whole lot, 24 of the side cap band color, and 11 cap bands that go in the very center right there, but you really don't see the color a whole lot. To make this bracelet, you need to have at least 5 bars. I'm going to use 2 sets of 5, so I have my 5 here and then another 5 set up right in front of that where the long blue bases are. And that's to get a full length wraparound bracelet. If you only have the 5 bars, it will be about this big. So you can still make it, it just will be smaller and you will need extensions, or you can use it as a keychain. So the second thing that is really important is make sure that your loom is set up in a staggered position. So you see it goes in like a zigzag. So the first color that we're going to be choosing is the colors that sit on the side. We're just going to be laying a few at the top for when we close it later, but I like to match it with whatever color we use on the side here. So I'm going to be doing this exact bracelet today, except I'm changing out the red for pink. So that's what I'm going to grab right now. The designer does recommend grabbing 2 bands for closing it up opposed to 1. So grab 2 right now and we will lay it on the center pin for when we close it later. And then from that pin, we're going to go diagonally to the left. And then from that pin, we'll go to the corner. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So from the center pin, we'll go down to the right and then out to the corner. Like that. We're going to set that color to the side, and now we are going to choose whatever color you're going to use for the zigzags, so this color here. So we are going to come to the center pin, and we're going to start laying diagonal bands going out to the left. So we will lay it diagonally out 2 times. And then from there, we're going to bring it inwards 2 times. There's technically 2 different ways you can lay it, but I like to do it this way. I feel like it's less confusing. We'll come back to the middle, and then we will go in the opposite direction 2 times, and then from the corner we will bring it in to meet up with the first side, like that. So you do want to make sure that you're being consistent which side you're starting with. So I started on my left and then finished with the right. So I'm going to keep starting with the left every time. And the reason that's important is for when we go back to do the looping. So just be consistent with whichever way you're laying it. So I'll go out to the left 2 times. And then I'll bring it inwards towards the center 2 times. We'll come back to the middle and we will complete the right side of it. Like that. Come back to the middle and we'll start that again. If you are only using 1 loom set of 5, you are only going to be doing 5 sets of diamonds. So I call this 1 set, this is 2, 3. If you want to be able to follow my exact instructions in the video, only do 5. There will be enough room to lay another one, but you won't be able to close the bracelet properly. If you are using more than 1 set, like I am in the video, we are going to be laying 11 diamonds, or 11 sets. So we will do exactly what I'm doing right now until we have a total of 11 of them. Okay, so hit the pause button until you have all of your sets laid. I did jump off camera and get mine laid really quick. So my 11th diamond ends down here, and I have 3 empty center pins. So this is what my loom is looking like. So we're now going to go back to our first color. And like I said, that's where these bands sit on the sides. And we're going to be laying, it's basically like a half of a starburst that we're going to be laying. So the first one is a little different. On the corner here, we're going to just lay one going straight. And then from that same corner pin, we're going to lay a diagonal like that. So it's kind of making like a sideways V. So then we will lay another straight one, and this is where we start to lay like the half of the starburst, excuse me. So where all these side like open triangle spaces are, we're basically going to be filling them up like this. We'll lay it straight, and then we will lay basically like a sideways V, and then straight like that. We would do that again, so we will lay it straight, diagonal, diagonal, straight. So we'll be laying 4 for each section. You can see that I am down at the end of my loom. I have reached the corner of my last diamond. We are still going to lay a straight one. And then we will lay a diagonal going downwards. We will not lay any more for right now. We will later. We'll lay one more later, but right now that's where we're going to stop. So this is what it should look like. So we're going to do the same thing on the left side. I'm going to just get you started with the very first one, and then I'll let you go ahead and continue. So to start it, remember you lay a straight one, and then don't forget to lay that one diagonal like that for the first one. And now we will continue as normal, laying straight, and then we will do our sideways V, and then straight again. Like that. And we'll do that all the way down just like we did on the right side. So go ahead and get all of your left side laid, and I'll meet you back here. So that's what it will look like once you have finished the left side. Make sure it looks like the right side. And then we'll put the remaining few bands to the side, and we will lay them later on when we are finished laying some other bands for now. So we're going to come back to the beginning, and we are going to be filling out the centers, which is where the purple is on this bracelet. I'm going to use the same color. And we're just going to come up to the first opening here in the middle, and we're going to fill it in like a starburst. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter the order that you lay them in necessarily, but I do like to be consistent, and I have a reason for starting where I do. So we're going to be going from the center pin out to all the surrounding ones, but I like to start on this diagonal left one first, like this. And then I just go around in a circle. And the reason that I like to start it there is strictly for looping purposes. When we come back to loop it up, by doing it this way, the first thing that I will loop up will be the one going straight once my loom is turned around. So I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but that's the reason that I always lay that one first. So we got that one all laid, and we'll come up to the next one, and we'll do the same thing. So like I said, I like to start mine going from the left, and then I just continue around like this. And just to be clear, you can technically start here, you can start here, you can start on any pin you want to. Just do that same thing every time so that when you go to loop it out, you can keep going in the same direction and you won't have any issues. So we're just going to go ahead and get each one of these diamonds filled in with our starburst bands, and then I will come back and show you what we're going to do next. So go ahead and get all of those filled out like I'm doing right now, and I will meet you back here. So I'm going to be way ahead of you since I jumped off camera to get the rest of mine filled out. But you should have 11 starbursts in the center because they're all filled out now. Of course, hit the pause button until you are caught up with me. And now we're going to go ahead and lay some single chains on the second and fourth row. Now, you don't see these bands. On this bracelet, I use like this pink color in there. But you really don't see it. It's really hidden. So I'm just going to use this opaque clear-ish color. And again, on the second and fourth row, we're going to just be laying a straight chain all the way down it. We would do this all the way down the loom. And we will go one past the end of the last set of bands. And I'll show you what I mean when we get down there. So you can see that I have reached like where my bands end. You want to go one more past where your bands end. So there's my corner ones. I want to make sure that my single chain goes one past it. And you want to do that whether you're using 2 sets or 1 set of 5. We're going to do the same thing on the left. Okay, so that is what it will look like after you have completed that side. So now while we're down here, we're going to go ahead and close off the ending with our side color, which is the pink. And what we're going to do is from the left corner, we're going to go diagonally in like so. And then from that pin, we will bring it diagonally into the center downwards like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So make sure you're starting from the outer corner, going diagonal in. And then from that pin, we will go into the center. Like that. So we're going to come back to the beginning now. And we are going to do a bunch of cap band laying on the sides. So for the side cap bands, that is where my purple is here. That's what I'm going to use today. And we're going to be laying double cap bands for the sides. So we will start on the very corner. And we're just going to wrap a cap band around 2 times. You can use your hook if you want to. I'm just going to use my fingers. We are not going to lay it on the next pin. We're going to come up to the next one and lay a double cap band there. So again, you're just wrapping that around 2 times. We're going to skip this one, come up to the next one and lay it there. And we will continue laying a cap band on every other side pin. And you are going to lay one on the very last corner one as well. So you're going to come to the beginning and you're going to do the exact same thing on the left side. Since I jumped off camera to finish mine, I just want to show you what it looks like after I have all of mine laid. Don't forget to lay one on the left corner one. And this is what it's looking like. So now we're going to be laying our cap bands for the centers. Now for this one, depending on the bands you use, you may not see it a whole lot. You can see if you look closely that I used yellow on this one. This one you can't really tell that much. I guess it is peeking through a little bit there. But it really depends on the bands. So I am going to use the same color I did last time. I like how it kind of pokes through a little bit. But you can use the same color as the bands that you laid if you want. It's completely up to you. Now for the centers, we have to lay triple cap bands. So this might come in handy using your hook. Or you can use your fingers. I'm going to use my fingers. So we're going to go in the very center of that starburst. And we are going to lay a triple cap band. I kind of do a little weird method using my fingers. But you can also wrap it around your hook 3 times. My printer's going off. Sorry. And stretch it on. Like that. So this is where our first one was. We skipped this pin here, came up to the next one. So if you're looking at it in that sense, you're going to be laying a cap band on every other row, which will be the center of every starburst. So this part's really easy and straightforward. Just make sure you're triple capping it and not double capping it. That is the only important part for this step. And then once we are done capping them, we will be ready to start looping. So I'm going to get all my cap bands done, and I will meet you back here when I am done. So now that all of my cap bands are on, I will turn my loom around so the openings are facing me. And we are going to lay one more cap band in the color of the main side color, or down here for where we closed it off, which is pink. And we're going to lay a cap band on the very center. Now, this is where we start the looping out of. I like to use a regular cap band, which is wrapped around twice, but the designer uses a triple cap band. So it's up to you if you want to wrap it 3 times or 2. I'm doing a regular cap band, but that's just because that's my personal preference. You may want to do the triple cap band for a tighter close. So once we have that on there, we are ready to start the looping. So the first thing that we're going to do to start the looping is on the corners here, we're going to loop them inwards. So I'm just going to start on the right here, and we're going to go into the corner cap band. You're going to grab the very top band that's in there and just bring it back to itself, which will be inwards and down. Like that. We'll do the same on the left side. That's all we're going to be doing for the sides right now. And now we're going to go into the center cap band and loop those pinks back to themselves as well. Just like that. So from here, we are going to be looping up the single chain that is on the 2nd and 4th row. It doesn't matter which one you start with. So we'll go into this one right here. Make sure you're getting in front of all 4 of those bands, grabbing the very bottom band and looping it up. From there, we're just going to be grabbing the very top band that's in there, and we will loop this all the way up the loom. This part's really straightforward. So I have that one completed there. And we're doing the exact same thing on the 2nd row. Just like we did on the other side, you're going to push through all 4 of those, grabbing the very bottom and looping it up. We will go ahead and loop all of these up the same way. So go ahead and get yours looped up, and I'll meet you back here when mine are done. Okay, so I have mine done. That's what it's looking like. So now that they're both looped up, we are going to be looping the sides now. I'm going to start with my left side, and we're going to be going into the cap bands and looping all of our side bands out. So from this first cap band right here, we're going to go into it and loop out 2 bands. So we'll grab the top one, bring it back to itself, go in the cap band again, and that one will go back to itself, which will be forward. So then you'll come up to the next cap band. We'll go inside of that, and we're just looping all of the bands back to themselves. So when I go in here, I'll grab my top one, which will be going diagonal down. The same with this. Actually, my second one I think goes down. Yeah, it does. Okay, my second one goes down. Then my next one goes out and up. Like that. Come up to the next cap band, and we're just going to keep looping them all back to themselves. I'm not sure why that one was in a different order, because I'm pretty sure I laid them on the same order, unless I wasn't paying attention there. You will be looping 4 bands out of each cap band. So I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward through, and then I'll show you the very top what we're going to do. So once you get to the very top, you're basically doing the same thing except there's only 3. You're just going to loop your first one back to itself, then the next one down, and then the last one into the middle. That's where you're going to stop. You're not going to do anything else. And then you're going to do everything identical to on the right side that you did to the left. So I'll just get you started on the first one because there's only 2. So you'll go into this first cap band, bring it back to itself, go into it again, and bring this one straight. Whoops. Like that. And then we'll go into this cap band and do the exact same thing, bringing all 4 bands back to themselves. So keep going into each cap band, looping them all out, and I'll meet you here at the top when mine are all done. When you reach the top of your right side, just don't forget to loop out the 3 in the top corner. And then now we're ready to start looping the centers of our starbursts. So this part is pretty easy as well. We're going to be entering the center cap bands of each one of them and just looping them all back to themselves. So my first one right here, if you lay them in the same order as me, the top one will always start by going forward, and then I'll be looping backwards basically, or counterclockwise. And I'm just going to go in a circle like this, looping them all back to themselves. This is why it's important to lay it in a certain order, because it's frustrating when you get down in there and then you're grabbing the wrong band and then you have to undo it, and it's just a headache. So I have all of my first one looped out. You're just going to come up to the center of the next one, and we're going to do the same thing. And if you laid them all the same way, you will always start it by looping the first one forward and then just working around in the left direction. So there's my first one, there's my second one, and we're just going to continue doing that. So since this is a much longer taking bracelet, I am going to go ahead and loop all of mine off of camera, but you're just going to keep doing the same step until they are all loomed out. So I will meet you back here when all of my starbursts are looped out. So this is what mine looks like after they are all looped out. So the last thing that we have to do is loop up the zigzag, which could be, I guess, the trickiest part of the bracelet. There is a lot of layers that we have to get through. So that's what we're going to work on now, and we're going to be starting on the very center pin down here at the beginning. You just want to take your time and make sure that you are grabbing the correct bands. So on this first pin here, we have 2 layers that we have to move. The third band that you're grabbing is going to be the zigzag band, and we're going to go to the left, and then we have to go into that pin and grab the next one, which is down here, and go to the left again. There is a lot of bands you have to move though in order to grab it. So make sure you're grabbing the bottommost band and bringing it to the left. We're going to go back into that same pin, and now we're going to go in the opposite direction up into the middle. So make sure that you're moving all of the top layers and grabbing the very bottom band, and you're bringing that to the right. And then you'll go in that one and do the same thing, pushing everything out of the way, grabbing the most bottom layer and bringing it like that. So we did the left side of that diamond. Now we need to do the right side of it. So we'll come back to the beginning, grab the very bottom band, and we're going to now loop this side diagonally to the right. And then once you reach the side, you'll go in, grab the very bottom, and bring it in towards the center. Like that. And we need to start that all over again now. So we're going to start that again, starting in the center here. This is probably one of the trickiest parts. You have to make sure that you're grabbing the correct band, which is the one that's facing this direction. So I'm going to push that out of the way. I'm grabbing the second to last band on this one because it's the one going to the left. The one going to the right is technically the very bottom band. And now we are grabbing the very bottom band on this one. After we loop the left side of that zigzag, we have to come back and loop the right side of it. Now we're going to bring it in towards the center. We're going to come to the center here and we're going to start again. So we're going to move back the top layers. We're grabbing the second to last band and it should be coming from the direction of the left. So we will loom the left side out first. And then we'll come back to the middle and loop out the right side. So go ahead and just keep following along with me. This part, you kind of just have to follow along. With so many bands being on the loom, it's really hard to show where I'm grabbing. So I am actually going to go ahead and finish looping mine off camera, but you're just literally going to keep looping out your zigzag. Do your left side, then your right, do your left, then your right, and you're going to keep doing that all the way up the loom, and then I will come back when I reach the top. So once all your zigzags are looped out and you're at the top, the last thing that you have to do is close off these two pink bands right here. This part's really important for your bracelet not to fall apart. So we're going to go into the second row here and grab the bottom pink band. And you're going to bring it downwards and into the center. And then we're going to do the same thing from this second to last row. You're going to go in here, grab the very bottom band, and loop it downwards into the center. So at the beginning, we had these two loose bands there for closure. I'm going to grab a hold of it with one finger or one hand. And then you're going to go down in here with your hook. This part, you want to make sure that you're getting through everything. There's so many bands on here. And grabbing the very bottom two, which is the other end of those two bands, and that's where our C-clip is going to go. Now for this bracelet, you definitely want to use, in my opinion, your hook to release a lot of this bracelet, especially all of the sides. If you don't want to take your time to release the whole thing, at least release all of the sides with your hook, and then you can pull the middle up with your hand. Okay, so when I take it off of the loom, the back side kind of buckles in more, so I flip it over to the front side and I stretch it and kind of bend it a little bit. But I definitely go through from top to bottom and give it a good stretch just to help the bands lay a little better. To close it up, you're just going to locate your cap band down here at the middle and your C-clip. And there you have the completed eye of the diamond bracelet, which was created by Keith is Looming Mad on Instagram. Don't forget to go ahead and check out his page on there. You can see his other creations. And don't forget to tag Keith is Looming Mad and myself loves to loom on Instagram. So that's it for today. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you really soon at my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.